Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Krisdian Aulia Putri with student number 24110106018. In this video, I will answer 12 question of reflection about my assignment, creating sentences for conditional sentence and direct and indirect speech based on the real life context. I view this interview as an opportunity to share my experiences. I will honestly describe what I felt and went through while working on the task of constructing sentences in a real-life context like this. My first reaction when I was given the assignment was, of course, a mix of surprise and curiosity. At first, I thought it would be very difficult because I was used to working on problems where I just had to fill in the answers, but as the time went on, I felt challenged to give it a try. I feel both challenged and anxious at the same time. The reason is that I'm not just memorizing formulas, but I also imagining real life situation from my daily life, but I am also worried about whether I can complete this assignment well and correctly. This makes me focus more on understanding when and how those grammar rules are used. Okay, it feels totally different when solving problems you just to find the best answer, but when creating my own, I have to think like someone trying to convey a message. It has to be logical, follow the rules of grammar, and still sound natural when spoken. In my opinion, the hardest part is aligning grammar rules with real life context. Sometimes I already know the rules, but it's difficult to construct sentences that don't sound stiff like textbook theory but instead sound like natural conversation. I start with real life situation I've actually experienced it, like giving a presentation, talking on the phone with my mom, or when my dad tells me not to do something. Then I adapt them to fit the required format and I double check the verbs and pronouns until I'm sure the meaning is clear and the structure is correct. That's right, I realized that grammar isn't just a set of rules in a book. Up until now, I've only read the theory, but when I actually it put it into practice, I finally understood why words change from when to use would or had or why pronouns change. It all depends on the tense and the situations. If I just practice the textbook exercise, I only learn the patterns. Through this assignment, I understand the meaning and practical application firsthand, so I know when to use certain types of sentences, and the material sticks better and isn't easily forgotten. I gave it a 7 out of 10. I can already construct sentences according to the text, but I'm still hesitant when checking verb tense and pronouns, especially in type 3 conditionals and indirect speech. I'm afraid I might make even a small mistakes. Okay, while reading this reflection, I'm reminded of what I have done, what was correct and what needs improvement. Self assessment is a bit difficult because we tend to be satisfied once we are done, but this actually helps me identify which part I haven't fully understood yet. The purpose of the reflection is so we can see the learning process, not just the final result. We come to know our own stage and weaknesses, and the instructor or the lecturer can also understand how we think when studying the material. Usually, when working on problems created by the lecturer, I just use the existing formulas and look for the matching answer, and it feels more passive just practice. But when I have to construct sentences on my own, it's completely different. I have to start from scratch, find real situation I experience, daily, then adapt them to the sentence structure so they fit the rules of conditional sentence while still sounding natural when spoken. And that has changed my perspective on grammar exercise. It turns out the these rules aren't just a list of formulas in the book, but rather tools to ensure our meaning is conveyed precisely and clearly according to the time and situation. And now I understand the reasoning behind every change in a word form. Okay, thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.